Imagine waking up one morning and realizing that your body is not failing you. It is simply asking to be understood. After 60, health is no longer about chasing youth. It is about learning the quiet language of your cells, your muscles, your breath. Science tells us something comforting here. Aging is not a sudden decline, but a slow conversation between lifestyle and biology. When we listen carefully, the body responds with strength, balance, and resilience, far beyond what most people expect at this stage of life. The first truth doctors emphasize is that movement is not optional biology. It is instruction. Muscles, bones, and even brain cells depend on regular signals to stay alive and functional. Gentle resistance, steady walking, or controlled stretching sends a message to the nervous system that the body is still needed. Research shows that muscle fibers can grow and strengthen well into later decades, not because the body is young, but because it is adaptable. Fitness after 60 is less about intensity and more about consistency, allowing the body to remember what it was designed to do. After the age of 60, the body is often misunderstood as something that is slowly failing, when in reality, it is responding continuously to the signals it receives every day. Aging does not arrive as a sudden biological collapse. It unfolds as a long-term interaction between behavior, environment, and internal systems. Every movement, every meal, every hour of rest sends information to cells about how they should function. When those signals are supportive, the body adapts in ways that preserve strength, coordination, and internal balance. This adaptive nature is one of the most overlooked scientific truths about aging, yet it explains why some individuals remain vibrant and capable well into later decades, while others struggle earlier than expected. From a biological perspective, tissues are not passive structures waiting to deteriorate. Muscles respond to use by maintaining their fibers, bones respond to load by preserving density, and even the brain continues to reorganize itself in response to activity. Aging reflects how clearly these systems are being instructed. When movement decreases, the body interprets it as reduced demand, gradually scaling down strength and resilience. When activity is reintroduced thoughtfully, the body recognizes the need and begins rebuilding, even after long periods of inactivity. This responsiveness shows that aging is shaped more by communication than by time alone. Metabolism follows the same principle. Hormonal signals that regulate blood sugar, inflammation, and energy efficiency are deeply influenced by daily habits. With age, these systems become more sensitive, not less intelligent. Small lifestyle choices can produce large biological effects because the body is constantly adjusting to maintain equilibrium. When supportive signals dominate, cellular stress decreases and repair processes become more efficient. This is why modest, sustainable changes often outperform aggressive interventions in later life. The nervous system plays a central role in this dialogue. It interprets sensory input, movement patterns, emotional states, and stress levels, translating them into physiological responses. Chronic stress or inactivity sends a message of threat or disuse, prompting the body to conserve rather than invest. Calm, purposeful movement and mental engagement signal safety and relevance, encouraging the body to maintain function. Over time, these signals shape posture, balance, reaction time, and even confidence in one's own physical abilities. Understanding aging as a conversation changes how health is approached. Fear-based thinking assumes inevitability and loss, often leading to withdrawal from physical and social engagement. Curiosity-driven thinking, rooted in science, invites observation and participation. The body becomes a system to work with rather than something to resist. This shift alone can transform outcomes because belief influences behavior, and behavior shapes biology. When seniors recognize that their daily actions are continuously interpreted by their bodies, health becomes less about reversing age and more about guiding it. The science of aging supports this perspective at every level, from cellular signaling to whole body function. The body listens carefully throughout life, adjusting its structure and performance according to how it is treated. Aging, in this sense, is not a passive journey toward decline, but an ongoing exchange where understanding leads to strength, adaptability, and sustained well-being. After 60, movement takes on a deeper biological meaning than it did in earlier years. It is no longer about shaping the body or pushing limits, but about maintaining communication between systems that rely on regular signals to stay alive and responsive. Muscles, bones, joints, and the nervous system are not designed to remain idle, and when movement fades, the body quietly interprets that absence as a lack of necessity. Scientific research shows that the body does not weaken simply because of age, but because the signals that once maintained strength and coordination are no longer being sent with enough regularity. Muscle tissue remains remarkably adaptable throughout life. Even in later decades, muscle fibers respond to gentle resistance by increasing strength and efficiency. This process, known biologically as adaptation, does not require extreme effort. It requires repetition. When muscles are used consistently, the body invests energy in maintaining them. When they are ignored, it reallocates resources elsewhere. This explains why seniors who move daily often retain independence and mobility, while long periods of inactivity can accelerate weakness far more rapidly than aging itself. Bones follow a similar logic. They are living tissue that respond to pressure and load. Walking, standing, and light strength exercises stimulate bone cells to preserve density. Without these signals, bones gradually lose strength, increasing fracture risk. The body is not intentionally failing, it is responding logically to reduced demand. Consistent movement reminds the skeletal system that support and stability are still required. The brain is also deeply involved in this process. Movement activates neural pathways that control balance, coordination, and spatial awareness. Each step, reach, or stretch reinforces communication between the brain and the body. Over time, these signals maintain reaction speed and reduce the risk of falls. Neuroscience confirms that the brain continues to rewire itself in response to physical activity well into old age, proving that learning and adaptation do not expire. What matters most is not how hard the body is pushed, but how often it is invited to participate. Intense exercise performed rarely may overwhelm aging tissues, while moderate activity performed regularly strengthens them. Consistency creates trust within the body's systems. The heart becomes more efficient, circulation improves, and joints remain lubricated and responsive. These changes accumulate quietly, shaping health over months and years. Movement also influences emotional and cognitive health. Physical activity stimulates chemical messengers that regulate mood, attention, and motivation. Seniors who move regularly often report clearer thinking and emotional stability, not because they are forcing change, but because the body is responding to familiar evolutionary signals. The human body was designed to move, and when it is allowed to do so gently and consistently, it remembers how to function with grace and strength. Understanding this principle reframes fitness after 60. It is not a test of endurance or willpower, but a practice of daily reassurance. Each movement tells the body it is still needed, still capable, still relevant. Over time, these messages reshape strength, balance, and confidence, allowing health to grow naturally through steady participation rather than force. As the body ages, its internal chemistry becomes more responsive to daily choices rather than less capable of change. Metabolism after 60 is often described as slower, but biologically it is better understood as more sensitive. The systems that regulate blood sugar, fat storage, inflammation, and energy use are constantly adjusting to maintain balance. Small disruptions can create noticeable effects, but small corrections can also restore stability. This sensitivity is not a weakness. It is a signal that the body is listening closely to what it is given. Nutrition plays a central role in this delicate balance. Cells rely on a steady supply of nutrients to repair tissues, maintain muscle, and support immune function. As digestive efficiency changes with age, the body benefits more from quality than quantity. Protein becomes especially important, not for building large muscles, but for preserving existing ones and supporting recovery. Balanced meals that include fiber, healthy fats, and micronutrients help regulate digestion and reduce stress on metabolic pathways. When food supports the body instead of overwhelming it, energy becomes more stable and predictable. Blood sugar regulation illustrates this principle clearly. With age, cells may respond less efficiently to insulin, causing fluctuations that affect energy, mood, and cognitive clarity. Regular meals, moderate portions, and consistent physical activity help restore sensitivity at the cellular level. These adjustments do not require strict dieting or deprivation. They rely on rhythm and awareness. When the body receives nourishment in a predictable pattern, it learns to manage resources more effectively. Inflammation is another key factor in metabolic health. Chronic low-grade inflammation can quietly undermine joints, blood vessels, and organs. Scientific studies show that hydration, nutrient-dense foods, and regular movement reduce inflammatory signals throughout the body. These effects accumulate over time, creating an internal environment that favors repair rather than breakdown. The absence of constant metabolic stress allows the immune system to function with greater precision and less strain. Hydration is often overlooked, yet it is fundamental to metabolic balance. Water supports circulation, digestion, temperature regulation, and cellular communication. Even mild dehydration can increase fatigue and disrupt metabolic efficiency. Aging bodies are less sensitive to thirst signals, making intentional hydration an essential habit rather than a reactive one. When hydration is adequate, metabolic processes operate with less resistance and greater clarity. The power of metabolic balance lies in its simplicity. Complex diets and extreme restrictions often create more stress than benefit, especially in later life. The body responds best to consistency, moderation, and nourishment that aligns with its changing needs. When metabolism is supported rather than challenged, energy is conserved for movement, cognition, and resilience. Understanding metabolic health as a responsive system encourages a gentler approach to nutrition and lifestyle. Instead of forcing outcomes, seniors can focus on creating conditions that allow the body to regulate itself. Over time, this cooperation reduces volatility in weight, energy, and inflammation, allowing health to stabilize naturally through informed, steady care. Rest is often mistaken for inactivity, yet biologically it is one of the most productive states the body can enter, especially after 60. During periods of deep rest, the body shifts its priorities from action to repair, directing energy toward processes that cannot occur while the mind and muscles are constantly engaged. Sleep is the most visible form of this restoration, but calm breathing, mental relaxation, and moments of stillness all contribute to the same internal work. As the body ages, these recovery systems become more essential, not because the body is fragile, but because it is refining how it allocates energy. During sleep, the brain organizes memory, regulates hormones, and clears metabolic waste that accumulates during waking hours. Growth and repair signals become more active, supporting muscles, connective tissue, and immune function. When sleep is shortened or fragmented, these processes are interrupted, leading to slower recovery, increased inflammation, and reduced resilience. Scientific research consistently shows that seniors who protect their sleep experience better balance, sharper cognition, and stronger immune responses. Sleep is not a pause in health. It is a continuation of it on a deeper level. Stress management plays an equally important role in recovery. Chronic stress keeps the nervous system in a state of alert, diverting resources away from healing and toward survival. Over time, this state increases blood pressure, disrupts digestion, and weakens immune defenses. Calm breathing, gentle routines, and emotional regulation signal safety to the nervous system, allowing it to release tension and restore balance. These signals influence hormonal patterns that directly affect sleep quality and tissue repair. Breathing itself is a powerful regulator of recovery. Slow, controlled breathing activates pathways that reduce heart rate and promote relaxation. This shift allows the body to transition from effort to renewal. Seniors who practice mindful breathing often experience improved sleep, reduced anxiety, and better cardiovascular regulation. The simplicity of breath makes it accessible, yet its effects reach deeply into the body's regulatory systems. Rest also supports emotional health, which in turn affects physical recovery. Mental fatigue and emotional strain increase inflammatory markers and disrupt hormonal rhythms. Allowing time for reflection, quiet enjoyment, and connection reduces this burden. The body responds to emotional calm just as it does to physical rest, lowering internal stress and improving overall function. Understanding rest as an active biological process changes how it is valued. Instead of viewing stillness as weakness, it becomes a strategic investment in long-term health. When recovery is respected, the body regains efficiency, clarity, and strength. Aging bodies thrive not by constant effort, but by balanced cycles of activity and renewal, where rest provides the foundation for sustained vitality and well-being. Balance is often thought of as a physical skill, but in reality, it is an expression of how well the brain and body communicate with each other. After 60, this communication becomes increasingly important because stability, coordination, and confidence all depend on it. Every movement the body makes is guided by signals traveling between the nervous system, muscles, joints, and sensory organs. When these signals are clear and well practiced, movement feels natural and secure. When they are neglected, the body hesitates, and that hesitation can gradually erode independence. The nervous system relies on constant feedback to remain efficient. Simple actions such as standing on one leg, walking on uneven surfaces, or turning the head while moving train the brain to process multiple signals at once. These activities strengthen neural pathways responsible for spatial awareness and reaction time. Scientific studies show that the brain continues to adapt and reorganize itself in response to these challenges even in later life. This adaptability allows seniors to improve balance and coordination regardless of age. Posture plays a subtle but powerful role in this system. The way the body is held affects how weight is distributed and how muscles engage to maintain stability. Poor posture shifts the center of gravity, increasing strain on joints and making balance more difficult. Awareness of alignment helps the body move efficiently, reducing unnecessary effort and minimizing the risk of falls. Over time, improved posture enhances confidence in movement, which further reinforces stability. Mindful movement strengthens the connection between intention and action. When seniors move with awareness, they become more attuned to how their bodies respond. This awareness allows for quicker adjustments and better control. Practices that emphasize slow, deliberate motion train the nervous system to respond smoothly rather than reactively. The result is not only better balance, but also greater trust in the body's ability to navigate its environment. Emotional state influences balance as well. Anxiety and fear can disrupt coordination by increasing muscle tension and narrowing attention. Calm focus allows the nervous system to process information more efficiently, supporting fluid movement. When seniors feel confident and present, their bodies move with greater ease and stability. This emotional physical link highlights the importance of mental well-being in preserving independence. Preserving independence is not about avoiding all risk, but about strengthening the systems that allow the body to respond effectively. Balance and coordination exercises teach the body how to recover when stability is challenged. Each successful adjustment reinforces neural pathways that protect against injury. Over time, this training reduces the likelihood of falls and supports continued engagement in daily activities. The mind-body connection thrives on attention and practice. When seniors invest time in cultivating balance, posture, and coordination, they are not simply exercising muscles. They are maintaining a conversation between brain and body that supports autonomy. This ongoing dialogue allows movement to remain confident and purposeful, sustaining independence and quality of life through clarity, adaptability, and trust in one's own physical capabilities.